God, it's happening again. Hello there, welcome back to my channel. My name is SKYMAN Universe. Your Star Wars quote for today. Luke, don't give in to hate. That leads to the dark side. So it comes as no surprise that last week's chapter 19 I kind of had mixed reactions to, and I think quite a lot of other people had the same sort of thing as well. There's sort of two ways to look at that. For me, it started off so perfectly, like we was going to have this adventure with the Mandalorian and Bo-Katan as well. It set the tone for the episode, for this really epic, adventurous, action-packed episode that we were just about to embark on. And I even said it at the start, I was like, wow, that was just the beginning. And then it switched to Coruscant. My thinking is, like, obviously they're world building, and this does a good job to set up what the New Republic's all about. But like I said, that comes at a cost, because then you know what happens in the sequels. Just for me, hopefully everyone else is different, but for me, I just don't really care or want to lead up or have any connections to do with the sequels whatsoever. The New Republic just looked crap. Coruscant was beautiful though. Going through it was beautiful, but there was just something about it. And it was identical to Andor, but it wasn't sort of Coruscant from Revenge of the Sith. I don't know how to explain it, whether it was the aliens, I don't know, but it was so crisp. I really don't know how to explain it. Like, it was absolutely beautiful, but there was just something. There was just something which I just didn't quite connect to, and that's where I felt like it was a very Andor episode. Like some of the designs within the encampment for the rehabilitation of the Imperial people. So the episode, of course, is world building, and Dr. Pershing was integral to Moff Gideon and the cloning process. I mean, the obvious thing here is it wouldn't turn up in the episode if it didn't have repercussions later on and if it wasn't important. Obviously, there's going to be a link between that New Republic woman with Moff Gideon. Like, she's the mole on the inside who's still, Imperial and clearly working for him. That's why she turned up the brain thing for Dr. Pershing, whether to get rid of his memory, whether he's had that before as well, because he seemed to have trouble remembering things. So if she did fry his brain, then what was the point? I mean, what, did she just get some equipment, or did she just want to fry his brain so he didn't tell anything about Moff Gideon? I don't know, but then he got the impression that he wanted to create some Empire things, and he knew they were kind of wrong or frowned upon from the New Republic, but still went ahead to try and do it anyway for the greater good. But then that's what every evil person says anyway. So I'm not really sure what to make out of those character interactions at all. But yeah, I think the only solution in hindsight, looking back at that episode, that really could have been condensed down to 10 minutes. It really didn't need to be as long as that. Them walking around with ice creams and things. We don't really need to see that. I prefer to have seen some Kaminoans who have the knowledge of the Empire cloning thing. That would have been way cooler, rather than just going for another human again. I was thinking about this as well. One of the things with Star Wars, its ultimate escapism takes you to a place where it's interesting and different things happen, and the imagination just runs wild with these incredible visuals. And then to have this sort of thing crop up again, where the character is doing a mundane job, data processing. I mean, did we ever watch Star Wars because we wanted to see data processing? Andor, that guy, was data processing. Dr. Pershing in this one, data processing, and it looks so boring and mundane, and that's not the Mandalorian at all. But see someone literally in an office on Coruscant doing data processing, talking to colleagues about absolute nothing and random crap. But yeah, they were interesting characters, Dr. Pershing and the Imperial woman. She was cool, clearly still Empire, but like I said, that could have just been condensed way down. Or it could have just continued with the Mandalorian stuff, but then start having different scenes crop up now and again throughout the episode, just to give us a bit of a break from the Coruscant office life and boring conversations about yellow biscuits. But yeah, I'm really hoping that this chapter we're going straight back to the Mandalorian, and it's just going to focus on the Mandalorian, Bo-Katan. I mean, they finished last week's episode perfectly as well, where Bo-Katan is inducted into the Creed. Now she's got her helmet on, she doesn't have to take it off. By right, she can be a member of the Creed, and everyone welcomes her. I felt that. Like, I really felt that. And I felt the start as well, where the Mandalorian's flying around and helping everyone in his starfight, in his N1. So, yeah, there was just really cool moments in there, and I'm still really excited for this episode. I was secretly hoping that they wouldn't connect it with the sequels and they'd veer off and do their own thing, in which case they would have had my ultimate respect, ultimate happiness. I would have been interested in Star Wars again, because it feels like there's a future ahead, as opposed to this mundane nightmare which was the sequels. The sequels had some good bits in there, but in the grand scheme of things, it was just a depressing trilogy which doesn't inspire you with hope or imagination or creativity or anything like that. It was just totally living off what came before. But anyway, I'm just hoping that Mandalorian will lead on to Ahsoka, will lead on to new paths and exciting times for Star Wars. But yeah, that's just my thoughts there. But anyway, I'm excited. Let's watch this. I do find it interesting how there's no sequel helmets in there. I swear there was a Plasma and a Kylo Ren. I'm not complaining. This is more like it. This is what we want to see. And tons of them as well. This is awesome. I just thought someone had the Mandalorian blast there. It's just about to disintegrate someone. I love how they're all sort of grubby looking as well. It's cool. I thought it was using the Force.
Next challenger.
No way. As in, Grogu's watching. No.
We're proud of you.
It's like it's just a tiny baby that's 50 years old. It's a tiny baby. What's he gonna do if he tries to hit Grogu? It'd be terrible.
Begin. Point. Begin. Point. It's okay. Show them. Begin.
I don't know why.
3 points. Winner. There you go.
Seeing Grogu literally just jump around just makes me so happy. This place. Like how 4 Mandalorians went to help him. 4 who actually just cared about a kid. No one else could be bothered. I suppose if I would be one of those 4. So cool. Now don't do that chapter 19 on me. It was a great start. I love what we're getting right now is how basically what happened to Din, how the younglings or foundlings became warriors.
Paz Vizsla, enjoin the Shriekhawk training team to accompany you. I will pack extended lariats for your launches.
I didn't realize he was Vizsla.
Explosives and blasters for the safety of the foundling.
This makes it even better.
Come, Grogu, a Mandalorian. There is much work to attend to.
No way, is this going to be the episode where he gets his helmet that we saw in the trailer? Please, that would be so good, where he gets his armor. And you know from this point onwards, every person who's cosplayed Grogu now has to update their cosplay.
The Forge can reveal weaknesses.
We're getting a flashback. Oh my god, yeah. What are you thinking of? Oh my god, it's happening again. Freaking bloody hell. The lightsabers look so good again.
The elevator! Get the youngling into Kelleran! Go!
It looks so small.
Everything's gonna be all right, kid.
Is that Armored Bess? Was that Jedi Knight Jar Jar Binks? That freaking is no way. Oh, I'm happy for him. Not sure about those lightsabers though, but freaking hell. Now it looks perfect like Coruscant. My gosh. There's the rock, the highest peak. Now it looks perfect again. Like fresh out of Revenge of the Sith.
We're gonna meet up with some friends of mine. But hold on, it's gonna be a bumpy landing.
I'm really happy that I really like that. Was that a Nubian ship?
They're right behind me.
My gosh.
There are no others. Everybody out! Move it! Move it! Take the ship. It's fueled and ready to go. Come on.
My god. Wow. You know, there was a part of me I would have lost the plot if Natalie Portman was actually going to show up as Padme. I just started to feel that and I thought, is this actually going to be a Natalie Portman surprise? That was so cool, I love that.
This rondel as you grow into your station, Foundling Grogu.
I'm not crying, just believing my face. I do love that we've got another visitor there. That is special. And I think Jon Favreau, how it's sort of gone full circle for him. I love that as well. So I can't get over Armored Bess playing a Jedi Knight. That makes me so happy. I love Jar Jar Binks. Not afraid to say it.
Go off to find a place.
You are the leader of the war party. You have the honor of staying by the fire. This is the way.
This is the way. Imagine getting to play one of those Mandalorians. That would just be so cool. Literally one epic moment.
Wait until we clear the area.
He's my son.
Freaking hell. Whoops. Bloody hell. This is so cool. This is just a normal day for a Mandalorian. Freaking epic, honestly. We've never ever seen anything like this before. Bloody hell. I do feel like they're on Jurassic Park though.
I'm okay, Dad.
Thank you.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
You have honored your house and all of Mandalore. You foundling.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is
And
the
we have
way.
brought you 3 more foundlings in need of
What the hell?
Or in need of a repair. Come with me.
I can replace
Is
what's
she gonna
missing,
get a
but not
memory?
its modern. The night owl.
Please get a flashback. Maybe hers won't go on the
What
main
would you
forward.
say if I told you I saw one?
I would say you are very lucky. It is
There's on Mandalore.
when you choose to walk the way of the Mandalore, you will see many things.
But it was real.
This is the way.
This is the way. So I knew this week that this episode was going to be a shorter one. Last week obviously was quite long, 50 minutes of, licking lollipops and yellow biscuits. But this episode, it didn't feel short, but I would have loved if it was even longer. It was just, I loved it so much. It's what I sort of want for the Mandalorian. They go off on adventures. Like, I think it's a common thing that they fight monsters, but Star Wars is going to be filled with monsters that we've never seen before. But to see the Mandalorians sort of take on this beast, I've never seen anything like that before, where they're all with jetpacks, they're all getting hit by the wings, and then they have to try and rebalance themselves to go and attack the raptor as well. I mean, that was really cool. Like, I really love that so much. And they're all sort of incognito, and then it just all hell breaks loose. And then it goes from 0 to 100% action. It's like the Mandalore way. It's just how Mandalorians live, and that's what I love. Seeing them all together flying around and getting knocked and beaten up and trying to get the rope around the raptor while they're flying as well. Like, we see all this stuff on the ground, but to see it through Mandalorians with jetpacks in the air flying, I mean, it's something completely different. And to me, I thought that looked visually spectacular. Like, honestly, I love that so much. But we have to talk about the elephant in the room here. Freaking Armored Best as a Jedi Knight. One of the things that I loved about The Phantom Menace was Armored Best. I think he's always been incredibly underrated. And Jar Jar Binks, even though obviously not loved by some people, but for me, I love Jar Jar Binks, and therefore I'm a big Armored Best fan. And I know that he's personally sort of gone through issues and struggles with correlation in relation to Star Wars. So to actually give him the high honor of being a Jedi Knight, now I think he did a kid show as a Jedi Knight, but to see him be a Jedi Knight, and he's the one that rescues Grogu and takes him off Jedi Temple, that to me, I thought was really special, and I couldn't be happier for him, honestly. And I mean, there's slight things that I would love to have seen there as well. I'd love to have seen Nick Gillard give him a certain fighting style. And the lightsabers, they look really cool, but at the same time, I don't know what it is. I think because I've always been used to sort of CGI effects for the lightsabers, anyone could have a lightsaber now, a very realistic one, a NeoPixel one, and it looks realistic. But it takes time and effort to do the CGI versions and to make them like lightsabers. That's what probably the thing that just makes it seem a little bit different for me. But certain close-ups, it's like the lightsabers aren't a full length. I think they're meant to be like 35 inches, 35.5 inches in length. I know they all do vary. Ahsoka has different ones as well. But I think generic Jedi Knights, I think it's better to have just a generic size for lightsabers. A bit like when Luke Skywalker shows up, you could see he's using sort of his half lightsaber because he's in the hallway. But then it should have been in post, made a full-size lightsaber. But it looks sort of realistic enough. But I would tweak that. But this is just a minor tweak. Give these sort of Jedi fighting styles, because to me, being a massive Nick Gillard fan, a massive Form fan of all the Jedi and everything, and prequels, etc., I just love if they just include him in there, because to include him on the Mandalorian show, it will feel like there's more depth and heart to something so, it's not even on screen that much, but something so small as seeing how lightsabers move and how Jedi reacts when they're on the screen, then I'm sure Nick Gillard would have created something amazing for Armored Best, a unique form of some sort, a look, because that looked more like he just sort of picked up the lightsabers and, you know, started going around. And I think Ahmed Best deserved some Nick Gillard training. That would have been pretty awesome. But to see the clones again, and to see the Coruscant clones, which I loved so much, and then to go through Coruscant, and Coruscant looked identical to Revenge of the Sith Coruscant. I mean, it was so special. And to see the Jedi Temple on flames again. These are direct links to me watching Revenge of the Sith. I'm sure you as well. So in seeing those things again, it puts you back in that moment, like you feel it, and it's so cleverly and perfectly done in my eyes with The Mandalorian, with, you know, getting flashbacks. Like, I didn't know that it forced flashbacks, basically, the hammer, like it induces them. So that was a really cool thing. I thought that was just a Din Djarin one-off thing. But I love that it's like Grogu has a troubled past with the clones, and Din has a troubled past with the droids as well, so that it's almost like a connection there, which I really like. But to see it sort of descend into a vision and then straight on the Jedi Temple, really cool. It's just, I can hear the music of the choir, and, you know, when they're going through the temple, and just for us, Master Skywalker, that, and it's like, it still haunts me, seeing all the Jedi just getting killed by all these clones, literally just swamping them all. Yeah, it was just, to have that in The Mandalorian. This is why I love The Mandalorian, because it's not inserted because, oh, that's cool, we need to include that. It's inserted because it's integral to the story. Grogu is integral to The Mandalorian. Grogu has an integral link to the Jedi. And the Jedi, it was a part of his previous memories and how he ended up with The Mandalorian. Like, it works. There's nothing that's ever really felt forced with The Mandalorian, apart from maybe the Coruscant episode with Dr. Pershing. But it was just, that's the sort of special moments which I love. It was a really special episode. I really loved it, even though it's condensed. But, you know, if it's going to include important things, you don't need to elongate it for no reason. It had everything in there, which I kind of wanted to address, like even the mythosaur at the end, and Bo-Katan telling the armor as well. I mean, does she not believe it yet? I'm not sure if she did believe her or not. It was like, yes, of course, yeah, in your visions, in your dreams, sort of thing. Oh, do you saw one? Good for you. But there's something else going on there, like, and that's what I love. So that was addressed there as well. But it was the mythosaur who sort of accepted Din Djarin first, so, and brought him down. So I assume, you know, that needs addressing there too as well. And when's Din going to find out also? So that's just epic. Seeing all the Mandalorians and the foundlings sort of learn and fight with one another and have all their training, and tons of Mandalorians, that's epic. This is basically how the Mandalorian Din Djarin became a Mandalorian. So seeing all the foundlings, and it's basically what happened to him and then how he turned into a Mandalorian. That's epic. The flashbacks with Grogu and starting off the Jedi Temple, seeing how he came off, that's epic. Armored Best as a Jedi Knight, that's epic. Coruscant as Revenge of the Sith, that's epic. The Raptor Piece fight with all the Mandalorians, that's epic. This whole episode, I loved so much. Yeah, I think I really liked this episode, and it's such a contrast from Chapter 19, but this is the way. This is what the Mandalorian sort of shines in. I think this is where the Mandalorian shines, and I can't wait for next week's chapter. But yeah, that was really special, and I'm glad that. But yeah, that was really special. No, I mean, there was just one thing, and I really started to feel the emotions. It's just because of the Luke Skywalker moment. I'll never forget that, and I'll never forget that I didn't even clog on until way too late that it was Luke Skywalker's X-Wing. It's just, oh, an X-Wing, it's the New Republic. And then just randomly, emotions started to get me even before my brain had time to think that it could be Luke Skywalker. And I would have the same affinity if that was Padme as well. So to see sort of her Starfighter there, I mean, that was her Episode 2 Starfighter, not Revenge of the Sith one. But to see that there, I was thinking, no, like, surely, you know, Natalie Portman, who has never really had anything to do with Star Wars since, have they managed to get her back and to play that character. I don't know. I mean, obviously she's watching the Jedi Temple all being destroyed at the moment. I don't know, have some sort of affiliation with it. Grogu's escape would have just been so perfect, and I would have totally lost it if she turned up there as well, because she's Phantom Menace for me, and literally everyone Phantom Menace holds a very special place. But to have the inclusion of some people from Naboo there, that was really nice. So yeah, at the moment, Ahmed Best is alive and he escaped the Jedi Purge on the Coruscant, so there must be more flashbacks for Grogu to work out what happens. So yeah, I don't know if you noticed or if I gave it away so much, but I was very happy with this episode and it was really awesome. So hope you enjoyed this reaction. Let me know your favourite parts from this episode, what you got from it, and what you're looking forward to now for the next episode. But anyway, hope to see you next week. Take care of yourself, and remember, the Force will be with you always.